Hi everyone, it's Dana with Cierra Candle and Soap Making Supplies. Thanks for joining us today. If this is your first time joining us, so I'm Dana, the owner, and behind the camera is the amazing Amy.
Hi.
And we're gonna do something super fun and easy today. We're gonna make wax brittle. What wax brittle is basically just melted wax with fragrance oils and colors and embellishments, and you pour it on a cookie sheet or something similar to that, let it set, break it up, then you can put it in your melters and your wax tart melters and things like that and use it. It's super easy and super fun. You see some of the candle makers will sell this as an additional product at craft fairs and things like that. It's super neat. So I'm going to show you some that we've made, and then we're going to make a batch as we go along here. So what I've got is 1 pound of the EcoSoya Pillar and Votive Blend. This is a hard wax. The melt point on this is 140 degrees, so it takes quite a while to melt down to get it nice and hot. You want it at 185, and so that's where we are right now at 185, and I've done this in a little double boiler. I'm gonna turn it down a tiny bit. We're gonna add our fragrance oil. We're gonna use almost 10%, so just a little bit shy of 10%. We're gonna use half an ounce of Vanillary, which is a lush dupe, lush type, and then we're gonna use 1 ounce of fresh cut roses. That may sound like a really interesting fragrance combination, but it smells really good. That vanilla is gonna cut the rose a little bit and just make it a little sweeter. So we'll pour in the fresh cut roses. And I'm gonna take this actually out of the pot now because I want it to cool down a little bit.
Where can we find this wax?
We can find this wax and the fragrance oils at CierraCandles.com. And so we'll do about half an ounce. I'm eyeballing it. For wax tarts, melts, brittle, anything that not requiring a wick, you can actually go a little bit higher on the fragrance load. You don't want to go too high because some waxes can bleed out that fragrance oil. EcoSoya's waxes are not known to do that very easily. So we're at right about 10% here fragrance oil. And we're going to stir it slowly for a couple of minutes. We don't want a lot of air bubbles in it. And then we're going to split this off into 2 containers because we're going to do 2 different colors. So for this one, we're going to do pink. So we're going to add some really red mica. You could also just use red liquid candle dye. Just put like maybe half a chip in there because we want this one to be kind of pink. We're not going to do red roses. We're doing a pink. And then the other one we're leaving natural is a white. You could use dye chips if you wanted to. Really any candle colorant that is safe. And you can use micas in melts and wax brittle because there's no wick involved and no flame. So it won't clog your wick. Super cool to be able to use micas in wax because there's some
really pretty,
really glittery ones. And even though it's white wax, it still makes the colors look really pretty. And we'll look at that in a little bit here. I'm just gonna check the temp on this. So we're at 169. I want it to cool down a little bit lower than that. We're going to pour in layers, and in between pouring the layers, I'm going to show you some of the brittle that I made earlier today with different waxes so that you can see how they break out of the pan. This particular wax is made for melts, and it's made for votives. It's a very hard setting wax. When you break it, it's crisp. It breaks really crisply, so it's really, really good for melts and this brittle especially. And let's see where we are.
It smells really good.
It does smell good. You can smell the rose and the, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna break this off. It'll help it cool down a little bit too. And again, oops, that would have been a disaster. Nice and, yeah, it's starting to cool down good. I like to pour really at about 150. You can pour it a little bit higher for wax melts. It just means that your layers won't sit as fast. So let's add some mica. We're gonna add, and again, I just kind of eyeball this. It's white wax, so with a little bit, you just need a tiny little bit for this one. I used this pink yesterday or 2 days ago when I made the wax brittle that was on the Instagram and Facebook post. That particular picture, I actually made that brittle that day. And use the same pink. Ooh, look. It's kind of like in soap, right, Amy? Yeah. When you put micas in soap, they give that iridescent, like really opalescent color. Nice pinkish. Okay, we're gonna go ahead. Let me check this one quick. I don't want any color in this one. Oh, this is good. Yeah, we'll pour this one. So we're gonna come over here because this table is level, and you're just gonna pour directly onto your cookie sheet. And I don't know, I just kind of freestyle it. And okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put this back into the pot to keep it warm. And that's going to sit for a little while longer. We're not going to do anything with that right now. You can see it's setting up pretty good. It's turning a nice white. And we'll pour our second layer in a little bit. But let me show you what I did for the batch that I made a couple of days ago that we put on Instagram. You can just look at this, Amy, it's fine. So this is how it turned out. I got a little heavy-handed, you can see on the purple glitter. Everybody loves glitter. But what I used for this one was Bite Me fragrance oil. This is super sweet. It's like cherry like and punch. Yeah, fruit punch or cherry lime. Starburst. Oh, yeah. Starburst fruits, kind of. That's what it reminds me of. It's got very cherry forward. And then for colorants, I used our Purple Galaxy mica and blue liquid candle dye. And then I used, let's see, I used the pink that I just put into that as well. So the really red mica. And so I did 3 colors on this one. I didn't leave a natural color. And then just poured, like I'm gonna show you that we're doing here. And then I topped it with these little candies that you just get like at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, any of those that sell like cake and candy sprinkles. I'm sure you could get them online too, but I thought these were super cute, so I picked those up. And then I had a bunch of glitters that I put on. I bought these little glitty, they're called glitties. I got these on Amazon. So I used some purple and this pinkish kind of color. And then I put some little white iridescent glitter on there and some blue glitter.
And we sell this one, right?
We sell this one and we sell this one. So we sell the Purple Galaxy mica and we sell this. Both of them are sold in the store only though, in the retail store, not online. This, however, our candle dye, all of the liquid candle dyes, of course, we sell online at CierraCandles.com. And this again was the Pillar Blend Wax that we did right there. So, okay, so I'm gonna reach over here. And this is set up, see how this is set up super nice. And I just kind of go along. All right, it's setting up pretty good. I'll just set it right there for a second. So we're gonna let that set a little bit, then we're gonna put some more white on there, and then we're gonna finish off probably with a little bit of red. I might do a little bit of a drizzle or something, we'll see. I kind of freestyle it. So this is some bark that I made this morning. I know this is a disaster waiting to happen right here. But I wanted to show you what I was using. So this wax right here is the EcoSoya 220. So this wax, supposedly you can use it for both melts and container candles. It is a little soft, so we're gonna break it up in a minute so you can see how that works. This wax is the Nature Wax C3. It's a super soft wax. I do know some people though that do use this for melts. So we'll just look at the difference when we break it all up. So for this particular one, I used the fragrance oil of Sparkling Limoncello. That's a Bath & Body Works dupe as well. And Banana Boat Yellow Mica, which we sell in the store. I have this iridescent glitter that I picked up, super cool. And these little mini pearls. And so one of the things that I probably should have told you about the other one when you're putting embellishments like this on it, if the wax has set already, you're gonna need to hot gun the top to get it to set. Otherwise, your beads are gonna go rolling all over the place. And you can even take your finger and just kind of press them down a little bit. And then I finished this with a, took a little bit of the wax and added some purple to it and did just a little drizzle with a pipette on the top. And some of the wax was a little bit too hot, so it kind of bled in a little bit. So you have to just be careful with that. This one, I used the Baja Cactus Blossom, which is also a Bath & Body Works duplication fragrance that we sell online at CierraCandles.com. Some of this green glitty. And then I used the mint green mica mixed with emerald green mica. So I did a little bit of both just to get it a little, I was hoping to get a little bit darker than it actually came out. But anyway, so that's that. So this should, like when I did that one, the test batch, I didn't even have to like turn the pan over. I could basically lift the wax. It had contracted really well from the sides of the pan, and I could just take it out. Now, this one looks like it's kind of set in the pan a little bit. So let's see what happens. Let me turn it over. Okay, that's coming. You can tell one side is softer than the other because it's not coming out. It did not come out as easy, which was interesting because it was the Eco Soya one that didn't come out as easy. Okay, so just to remind you again, this is the C3 wax and this is the Q220 is what it's called. So we're going to break this one first. And I pour mine pretty thin. I know a lot of people that do a lot of different layers and pour theirs thicker, but I don't. So pretty crisp, not too bad. Not as good as that one though. Not as crisp, but still pretty good. See, these little balls are coming off here. This smells good though.
Mm-hmm. It smells really good. That's the sparkling limoncello?
Uh-huh. Yep. It's a nice fragrance. It's fresh. So yeah, that wasn't too bad. That broke up pretty good. All right, now break this one up in a minute, but I want to pour another layer while we're working on that. And let me put this one. Okay. So we're going to pour this. And this is the tricky part because you can't really see, since it's clear when it's melted, you can't really see how it's going to cover the wax. But I'm going to, setting up pretty quick, which is nice. We'll be able to do the embellishments pretty quick too. Okay, so let's break this one up. Again, this is the Nature Wax, which is soft wax. It's breaking pretty good. Actually, it's pretty good for a soft wax. Look at that. For brittle. I think, though, if you get it thicker, like if you put it into the 6-cavity wax melt containers, I think if you were to put them in there, they're going to be thicker, and I don't think they're going to break out of those cavities as crisply. It doesn't really matter. Nature Wax, though, you can't do huge high loads on that because it will bleed out the fragrance oil. This still smells pretty good though. This is the Baja Cactus Blossom. Yeah, see how it's like, it's softer on the edges. It's not like, you're not hearing that click really as well as you do with the other wax, but it's still pretty good. So, so say for instance, you're making a bunch of container candles and you want to use the same fragrance and the same wax for you know, a product to enhance your container candle. So you want to do the brittle or whatever. This would be a nice project to do with that. You can do it pretty easily. Just melt a bunch of wax and put it in different containers. But it is softer when you feel it's just, it's soft and it's almost like that kind of wax that you could melt on your skin. In fact, as I'm doing this, it is melting in my hands. Yeah, it's becoming really soft in my hands. And on my gloves. Let me see this one here. A little bit, but not too bad. This one is definitely harder. And again, this was the Q220. And these are all the waxes that we sell at CierraCandles.com, are the Eco Soya waxes and the Nature Wax. So look, that's looking pretty good. I like how it's kind of blended in right here. That see that little pink and so let's see if we can't finish this off real quick. All right, we did good. We're gonna let that set for a little bit longer. It shouldn't take too long. I'm thinking I've got a little bit of white here. Might. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna save that because we're gonna do something fun with that in a minute. Okay, so this is when you wanna put your embellishments on when the top is still a little bit hot. And I'm gonna put those, let's see how I wanna do this. I'm gonna put, these are rose petals, dried rose petals. You can smell these a little bit too. They have a little bit of a fragrance to them. Okay, and then we're going to use some of these pink pearls. Yeah, they're setting in there good. I can get away from you. Okay. And so what I may do, because this is setting up a little bit, if these don't stick, I may do a little bit of a hot gun real quick to them. And again, these are just like those little candy pieces that you can buy at like Michael's or I think Joann Fabric even has them, or they don't call them Joann Fabric anymore. Hobby Lobby.
It's not called Joann Fabric anymore?
No, it's just called Joann's now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm just kind of pressing these in here a little bit. So the wax is still pretty soft. Oops, see? You have to hug on that. Okay, and then, all right, I'm gonna do something. Amy, you keep the camera on that real quick. Plug in our hot gun. Okay, I'm gonna hot gun this on low and up high because you don't want the colors to blend together. You just want it to get a little wet. You might see some of the rose petals fly all over too. I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay, well, we can reset those. It's okay. We're flying everywhere. Oh no. All right, well, we got rose petals everywhere, but that's okay. There's plenty on here anyway. And what I may do is to take my little spatula and just kind of tamp things down a little bit. Yeah, that works. Okay, and then the final thing I was going to do, I think it's still maybe wet enough to do this, is take a little bit of glitter. Everything's better with glitter. We're just tamping it. Now it's sticking to the...
Nothing's ever easy.
No, of course not, but that's okay. We don't, you know,
Yeah.
Everybody loves glitter.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that, and then I think I might spray it. This is a mica sprayer. You can get these online. And we're not selling them on our website, I don't think. We have a couple in the store still left. But they're powder sprayers is what they are, not just mica. But you can put all kinds of powders in these and just spray. Spray, spray, spray. And there you go. And so this sits probably about, just to be on the safe side, about 2 hours. It might be ready to be done in an hour. You can also, if you're doing this at home, you can put it in your freezer. And then it'll pop right out. But this, when I go to take this out of the pan, it will have shrunk in on all the sides. This wax shrinks in a little bit. So isn't that pretty?
Yeah, it's really
and then you put them in little cello bags and with a nice little bow, or you can get those little what are they called, like coffee bags with the windows in them, and it's just a nice little fun project. You could do this with kids easily. Yep. This would be a fun project with kids. So there you have it. That's our wax brittle. We thought it'd be something fun to show you how to do with our products. Again, you can find most everything that you see here at sierracandles.com. And we thank you for joining us. Did anybody have any questions, by the way? Was there anything?
Not
okay.
So far. No.
Okay. Well, everyone, have a great weekend. Hopefully there won't be any more snow this weekend.
I hope not.
Yeah, right. All right. Thanks for joining us.
See you next week.